I wanted to touch upon a concept within the mindfulness world that I really haven't talked about that much, but I do think it's important to include it. Let's see if we're up here. There we go. I do think it's important to include it in our general understanding of what mindfulness can do for us as we go through our everyday lives. And it has to do from one line that I found in the Torah portion, which is, if you're interested in knowing where it comes from, it is Exodus 23, verse 3. And there it says, you shall neither side with the mighty to do wrong. You shall not give perverse testimony in a dispute, so as to pervert it in favor of the mighty. Nor shall you show deference to a poor man in his dispute. And I wanted to explain that the Torah here is basically saying, don't be so judgmental. Don't care about the person who's rich and not care about the person who's poor, because that person's rich and that person's powerful. And on the other side as well, don't show deference to someone just because they're poor. And when they're talking about poor and rich and mighty and poor, they're really talking about those that have power and those that don't have power in so many ways. So you either are deferential to the powerful person because they're so powerful and they can help you, or you're deferential to the person who has nothing because who else is going to stand up for them? And when they're talking about laws, mishpatim are laws or sentences, really what it's saying is don't judge one as being more meritorious over another. Don't do something just because you're showing preferential treatment. And the idea, hello Valerie and Irene and Chuck and Lisa and Michelle, good evening to you. So the idea here is, and I wanted to touch upon the difference between judging something and being judgmental. And mindfulness is a state of non-judgmental awareness. We come across this all the time when we begin our meditation and our mind takes us away. And we're like, oh my God, I stink at meditating. I can't even concentrate for 5 seconds. That is the kind of judgment and judgmental thought that I'm talking about. Is, okay, so you're not able to concentrate on your breath the whole time. Do you need to be judgmental about yourself because of that? Do you mean to get angry at yourself because of that? Be frustrated with yourself because of that? That's part of what it all is. And to be non-judgmental against yourself needs to translate out into the world as well. An example that was given when we were watching this mindful class several weeks ago. I think it was Sylvia Borstein who said this. She was in line at the supermarket, and the person was taking a really long time at the register. And she was getting kind of frustrated and angry. How come this person can't take longer? And being very judgmental of how long this person was taking. And then she went into a mindful mode and said, I don't know anything about this person. Maybe she's going as fast as she can go. Or maybe this person's had a really rough day today and isn't able to move any faster because she's distracted. And that once she moved into that place of, oh, this is a human being who has flaws and weaknesses. This is a human being who I'm experiencing, and I have no idea why this person is acting the way they're acting. Once she came to that human place, she wasn't angry anymore. She wasn't frustrated anymore because she realized, oh, that person's trying to make it through the world just as I am. And I think that is a perfect example of things that we do all the time. We're constantly, getting upset with someone because they're doing something their ways instead of doing it our way. Or we might not do it, but that person did. And we are full of judgment. By the way, there's another section in this Torah portion that talks about not gossiping. lashon hara, and not speaking gossip about others. Gossip is just a form of being judgmental. Oh, look what this person did. Aren't they horrible? And a lot of what we talk about has to do with the fact that we are judgmental of other people. What would happen if we completely separated ourselves from this kind of judgmental attitude? And I need to differentiate between being judgmental and having judgments. You can judge a person's action as being incorrect. You can judge a person's actions as not being ideal. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're judgmental of them. If you recognize someone does something wrong and you talk to them about it and you get your way through it, then you can understand them a little bit better. Or you could judge their action, but it doesn't mean that that action is the whole of that person. By the way, nor do you know the circumstances by which that person acted. So it's very difficult to do, but we start with ourselves. How often do you judge yourself and have the judgmental attitude that you're wrong or you're bad or coming up against what you think is better? I don't know how to actually say that. It's like you go against your own ethical values. And you're like, I shouldn't have done that, and I'm a horrible person. Or even the thoughts that I'm thinking are the wrong thoughts, and you're chastising yourself and you're judging yourself in a negative way. And being judgmental about your actions. So this, I think, is a really important aspect of the mindfulness practice, is how do I bring myself to a non-judgmental state? How do I bring myself to a place where, yeah, I can judge action, I can decide whether something's right for me or not right for me, but it doesn't mean that I have a certain negative emotion about the person whom I'm judging. It's very difficult because if someone does something against us or something wrong, our first inclination, I think, is just to kind of divorce ourselves from that person, or to say, I'm not gonna spend my time with them because we feel like their whole being is tied up into this one action. Dare I say that it does feel like there are times in our society when where a complaint comes down, and that complaint is not treated as a one-time thing, but treated as, oh, this person must be doing this all the time, when that might be the case, or it might not. So, the idea of kind of separating a particular action from the whole of a human being. Imagine if people judged you by only one action you did and they chose that action, or they found the worst thing that you ever did and they're like, oh, that's who that person is. To be judgmental of another person is to, in many ways, say, well, I'm bereft of doing wrong. There's nothing to judge in me. And yet I just got done saying that so many times we're extremely judgmental of ourselves, when we would prefer that we were not as judgmental. So wouldn't we prefer that in the way we deal with other people? Let's start our quiet sit. Get yourself into a position where you can sit comfortably yet strongly at the same time. And we're just going to, as we do each day, concentrate on our breathing. If you have joined us for the first time or have only been here a couple of times, we're not trying to push our breath. We're not trying to force anything. We're just trying to kind of let things sit and concentrate on the breath coming into our bodies and just being. We don't have to solve any issues right now. We can do that at 6 o'clock. We don't have to, solve the problems of our lives. Nor do we even have to ruminate upon what's been happening before or what's going to happen after we're here together. Now is the time, as I've said a lot, to just allow things to be as they are for now. No need to be judgmental of yourself. Just what is. And it's okay for right now. It's okay. as you begin your breathing, just want to remind people just the way the three ways I think of the soul as it enters your body, and your breath enters your body and leaves your body and transitions, that breath in is your neshama, taking in everything from the outside. Then you've got your nefesh, which is that space between breathing in, breathing out, or breathing out and breathing in. And then finally the ruach is the breath that comes out of us into the world, that spirit that enters the world. The neshama takes it in from the world, the nefesh refreshes it, and the ruach brings it out into the world. And just try to concentrate on each parts of your breath. And as you do, your mind may take you away. So please, with love and kindness, just bring yourself back to your breath. I always say, if you can get 5 minutes of good concentration on your breath, you're doing a very good job. As we move into our last minutes together, I'd like to finish by offering questions to the universe, questions to ourselves, and a hope that we have certain feelings. Tonight, Thursday evening, may I feel joy, and may I feel whole. In our preparation for Shabbat, we ask for the joy that Shabbat brings to us, and we also ask for a feeling of wholeness. Wholeness in our lives. That we are whole, complete. One might argue we're never complete, but may I feel whole. Not like there's something missing, or there's a hole without the W in my life. May I feel joy, and may I feel whole. With each breath, ask yourself one of these. Throw this out there into the world. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. You can say it to yourself. You can say it out loud. You can whisper it. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. If you'd like to offer this to someone else for their weekend, just put them in front of you in your mind's eye and offer this to whoever it is that you're speaking to. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel whole, and may you feel joy. May you feel whole, and may you feel joy. May you feel joy. May you feel whole. May you feel joy. And may you feel whole. And then let's just bring it back to ourselves. May I feel joy. And may I feel whole. May I feel joy. And may I feel whole. May I feel joy. May I feel whole. And we'll just finish up by going back inside and concentrating on our breath for just one last moment. Try to clear ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you were able to find some peace and stillness. And may you feel joy, and may you feel whole, and may you have a wonderful Shabbat. I do want to remind people today is World Holocaust Remembrance Day. We remember our brothers and sisters who did not survive. And we bring their joy with us as we come into this Shabbat. And just a little teaser, my uncle was interviewed for a famous story in our family. And if you watch on Friday night, you can hear that story. So I hope you have a pleasant Shabbat. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And have a great night. Take care.